All right, to talk about ages. To ask how old someone is and to tell them how old you or someone else is. So we're going to start with the second person question. How old are you? We're only going to focus on the informal version of this question. So, in order to ask, we're going to ask, Tu as quel âge? Tu as quel âge? Note that our AS is still pronounced ah. We don't pronounce final S's. Tu as quel âge? We can ask this in a second way. We can flip the quel âge to the front and then flip our tu and our ah behind. Quel âge as-tu? Quel âge as-tu? Either way works. Tu as quel âge or quel âge as-tu? Note that we are not pronouncing âge as age. It's very tempting because it's spelled almost the same except for that accent over the top. But remember, we have to say everything in a French accent. Accents are primarily defined by what sounds you make when you see certain vowels. Âge. That first A is what makes most of the difference. Âge, not age. Âge. Tu as quel âge? Quel âge as-tu? If you want to ask about someone else, how old is he? We're going to ask, Il a quel âge? Note that our two verbs, the AS and the A, sound the exact same. That's our are and our is. They're spelled very differently, but they sound the same. Tu as quel âge? Il a quel âge? Remember, though, when you are writing, to differentiate in your spelling. To ask how old is she, then, all we have to do is flip out our il for our L. Elle a quel âge? So we have tu as quel âge? Il a quel âge? And elle a quel âge? The only one we're going to worry about the second form with all of the flipping of words is the first one. Yes, we can do it with how old is he and how old is she, but again, since both of those ils and ls begin with a vowel, it becomes much more complicated than just adding in a hyphen. So we're going to ignore it for now. To answer, to say, I am a certain number of years old, we're going to say, j'ai, then your number, an. J'ai, however old you are, an. Note that this an is a nasal sound. The entire thing is one sound, even though it's 3 different letters. An. An. Also note, j'ai. This is one of the major reasons that I'm so obnoxious about you pronouncing je correctly. Je is I. J'ai is actually I have. In English, we say that you are a certain number of years old, but in French, you have a certain number of years. J'ai is I have. Do not mix up j'ai and je. So for example, Madame Fleur is 28 years old. So I would say, j'ai 28 ans. Note that my 8 and my ans form a liaison. J'ai 28 ans. If I want to talk about he or she, I'm just going to say il a, however number many, an an, or elle a, however number, an. So, j'ai 28 ans, Il a 28 ans. Elle a 28 ans. If we're all 28. So let's put this together into a practice conversation. So, you, me, and Benoit are all still hanging out in French class, and you want to ask Benoit how old he is. How would you ask him? You're going to ask, Quel âge as-tu? Quel âge as-tu? You could have asked, Tu as quel âge? If you preferred. Either way. Benoit tells you, J'ai 14 ans. J'ai 14 ans. I'm 14 years old. Well, but Madame Fleer is getting kind of old and kind of hard hearing, and I don't hear him very well, so I say, Il a quel âge? What are you going to tell me? You'll say, Il a 14 ans. He is 14 years old. Il a 14 ans.